Fast-moving wildfires exploding across wine country, forcing tens of thousands to flee their homes. At least 10 people have been killed, and the firefight has only just begun.
At least 15 fires are burning out of control across Napa, Sonoma, Mendocino, and Lake counties, incinerating tens of thousands of acres so far. Alan Martin anchors our coverage from Santa Rosa right now at a mobile home park that's been destroyed. Alan?
Yeah, Veronica and Ken, I've been here all day, the Journey's End Mobile Home Park, and all of a sudden, within the last 30 minutes or so, it's gotten eerily quiet. You know, there was a lot of noise here all day. The high-pressure gas line, that was roaring. Well, they extinguished that about 30 minutes ago. The PG&E crews that were jackhammering out in the street, they successfully got the line turned off, so they've left. I don't hear any air support. I don't see any fire trucks moving along Mendocino Avenue. It's just very strange because when you look behind me, 100 out of 160 of these mobile homes are now, I would say they're melted to the frames, but you know what? Even the frames on these mobile homes, these trailer homes, they have melted in part too. Everything people own, I see exercise equipment, I see washing machines, I see trucks, I see ovens, I see barbecues, I see some cars that have somehow survived in the middle of all the ash and the metal that's twisted and blackened, and all of a sudden, you know, as gray as the sky is, everything on the ground is kind of that same ashen color. It's either a dark brown, a black, or a gray. It's very sad. A few people have come in to try to go through their belongings to see what they can pull out of there that survived, and they're coming out with maybe a handful, maybe a bag full of things. But this is just one example of the devastation of this fire, because, as I say, apocalyptic is not out of the question. If Hollywood wanted to create a movie set for after a nuclear bomb, this is probably what it would look like. Let me go ahead and ask for Chopper 5 video right now, if we can show you what's happening. Chopper 5 above the flames. They are still burning out of control across parts of Sonoma and Napa County. The latest for you now, 73,000 acres have burned in multiple fires. At least 1,500 structures are destroyed. We don't know how many of those are homes, but earlier we were talking, even if 1,000 of those are homes, we've lost 1,000 homes in a 4-county area. 20,000 people evacuated, 10 people we're told have died, 2 in Napa County, 1 in Mendocino, and 7 here in Sonoma County. Now we have some video from just after midnight last night. The flames were the most fierce then. It's just a firestorm. KBIX5 reporter Wilson Walker arrived in that fire zone, captured just some absolutely amazing video right in the heart of it. Fire swarming across the Sonoma County hillsides and the roads, taking over those highways. People did not know which way to go. Embers were just being whipped in a circular direction in the wind that was blowing. And that early hour, it was already too late for dozens of homes. Flames ripping through neighborhoods. The fire was jumping house to house to house, going around vineyards. Let me show you some video from where I am right now. This video taken earlier, the Journey's End Mobile Home Park in Santa Rosa. I am about a few blocks maybe from Kaiser Permanente Hospital. Mobile homes here, as I say, 100 of them out of 160 are gone with the people's belongings in them. Many cars and trucks, their transportation, they're gone too. Hospitals have been evacuated. 130 patients moved out of Kaiser Permanente Santa Rosa Medical Center, which, as I say, is less than a quarter mile from where I'm standing. They evacuated it and they saved it. Sutter Santa Rosa Regional Hospital evacuated 80 patients. And among all of this, 100 people have been injured in the fires, a lot of them, of course, needing medical treatment. Now, we talked about some of the evacuees, and I'm going to have my colleague Len Ramirez come in here, because Len has been covering some of the evacuation centers. And earlier you were saying the Hilton Hotel, which is destroyed. You talked to some people who barely got out of there barefoot.
Exactly. You know, it's ironic, and you wouldn't think that this would be possible, but here we are so many hours later, and the Hilton is still on fire at this hour. In fact, a lot of Santa Rosa is still on fire at this hour. We see this thick haze of smoke still hanging over the city, and it's really a tragedy for people. We're talking about personal loss of just about everything they own. I talked to many people today at one of the evacuation centers who ran out of their houses with just the clothes on their backs. By the time he reached a Red Cross evacuation center, Derek Schaefer was devastated. This is what his home and neighborhood look like today.
I thought the apocalypse was going on. It was just, the winds were 80 mile an hour, just swirling left and right. Stuff was flying. It was a firestorm. There was ash, wind, just, you could see just red flares. It was all around. It was insane.
It's absolute pandemonium. Everyone was banging on each other's doors and going nuts, and it was crazy.
Rusty Rackett says he and 30 others hopped into cars and drove for their lives from a substance abuse treatment center in Glen Ellen at about 2 in the morning.
We couldn't see 5 feet in front of the car, and we were going to crash, and it was just light and smoke and everything. And it was like the space shuttle on re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. It was just light and smoke, and we couldn't see anything. It was shaking, and the glass was squeaking. It was absolutely awful.
Another group was staying at the Santa Rosa Hilton, a wedding party from Lafayette, Indiana.
Knocking on the door, and I'm like, what? We smell smoke. We're running out of the hotel. My aunts and everyone, 7 of us, and we couldn't even get in our car. We didn't get our keys. I had no shoes, not my glasses. About $1,000 of personal items probably went up, and then so now we're at the Red Cross.
The Red Cross has turned the Findlay Community Center into an evacuation center for hundreds of people burned out of their homes.
Seems to be pretty under control. People seem to be pretty calm. Of course, they're traumatized because they had to leave their houses quickly. So what we're doing is providing them with mental health care and, of course, food and a place of respite where they can sit and collect their thoughts.
The Findlay Community Center, one of several evacuation centers that have opened up here in Santa Rosa, in fact throughout the region, because the need is so great. They're estimating about 20,000 homes and structures have been burned in this, 20,000 evacuees in this area, a wide area. And you can see earlier in the day, people were on the freeway overpasses with pickups full of their belongings in the back, and they had binoculars, and they were just kind of looking out at what used to be their neighborhoods, and you can see the flames and the smoke devastating that area.
Yeah, and they just need someplace to go.
Someplace to go, and where are they going to go after, a couple of days or a couple of months?
Imagine if you came back, then this was your home. What would you do? There's got to be an answer here.
Yeah, and FEMA being so, drawn out from all the other disasters that have happened, it may be a while before they get the shelters and the things that people need in this area.
All right, well, the community is going to step forward. I'm sure of it. All right. I hope so. All right, Len, thanks so much. All right, we've spoken several times about this Hilton Hotel that's just behind the camera here on the ridge. It's still burning, what's left of it. There's a shell of a very big hotel. But earlier in the day, KPIX5 reporter Katie Nielsen was there. Here's her account.
As you can see behind me, the Hilton Wine Country Hotel is actually engulfed in flames right now. You can see the fence is on fire, and behind that, what we think used to be the restaurant here at the Hilton. What's really interesting is, as we've been standing here, we can not only feel the heat from these flames, we're having the debris and the ash come rain down on us because we are so close to this fire, but then also we're hearing these loud booms from inside. It's not explosions, it's portions of the hotel that are collapsing in on themselves as this fire continues to burn. And the eeriest part about this is there is not a firefighter in sight. We have not heard a siren. We have not seen a fire truck, nothing. And that is exactly like what we've been talking about all morning. These firefighters are trying to save people's lives. And so now that they know that everyone has been evacuated from the Hilton Sonoma Wine Country, they know there's nothing they can do. It is just going to burn until they're able to get additional resources. And unfortunately for a lot of the businesses in this area, it means they could burn to the ground.
KPIX5's Katie Nielsen there. Now, within the past hour, state and local officials have briefed both the community and the media on the firefighting efforts and the evacuations and all the rest of it. KPIX5's Susie Steimel was there. She's got the latest on what they said. Susie?
Well, Alan, CAL FIRE, Sonoma County Sheriff's Department, and Santa Rosa Police just briefed the media on what's been going on. And one of the most incredible things they said is still now, 17 hours or more than 17 hours after this fire broke out, they are still at 0% containment. Santa Rosa Police calling this a horrific and terrifying event for everyone in Sonoma and Napa counties. Now, we have some video for you from earlier of what they're calling the epicenter of the fire today. This is the neighborhood in Fountain Grove neighborhood. You can see an active fire. This is what we saw all throughout the afternoon. Firefighters forced to just allow homes to burn, saying that they just did not have enough resources, whether it was manpower or water, to take on the flames. So this happened over and over again throughout the day. Now, they said at this press conference they are still not yet in research and recovery mode. They're still actively evacuating people from that Fountain Grove neighborhood. They had said that they still want to go back in and dig through the rubble to see if there are any survivors, but they don't have the resources to do that just yet. That's also why they're telling people, if you can please avoid it, don't go home at this point. They don't want you out on the roads. They've also enacted a curfew that starts at 6:45 or sunset and goes through sunrise. They don't want people out on the roads. They want you to stay in evacuation centers or with family. They're asking for more cots at these evacuation centers, saying that a lot of them are at capacity. One of the people who spoke at this press conference just moments ago was Mayor Chris Corsi of Santa Rosa, saying he's just as frustrated as you are.
I'm as frustrated as all of you at the scarcity of information that we have at this point. I want to know how many people have died, how many people have been injured, how many people are in shelters, how many people have been evacuated, how many structures have been lost. It's frustrating. On the other hand, for the last 17 or 18 hours, our personnel have been out there doing the job of saving lives, and that's got to come first.
We also heard at this press conference from Congressman Mike Thompson, who said he took a helicopter tour today and he is sending video personally to FEMA and the White House so people know just how bad things are here in Santa Rosa. We're live at the Santa Rosa Fairgrounds. Susie Steimel, KPIX5.
All right, Susie, thanks. And a lot of neighborhoods besides the Journey's End mobile home park have been devastated by this fire. Coffee Park neighborhood is one of the hardest hit, and KPIX5's Jackie Ward has spent the day in that neighborhood. Jackie?
Alan, you were saying that the area where you're standing has actually gotten more quiet throughout the day. Well, it's the total opposite here in Coffee Park, where it's only gotten more active as people are coming back to the neighborhood to see their homes, or in this case, see what's left of him. This is a neighbor across the street. His home is okay, but this is the devastation that people are looking at, and CAL FIRE has been here intermittently putting out hotspots and flare-ups, but it's the neighbors that have stepped up their efforts and are now resorting to using garden hoses to limit the smoke and flames. So we were on our way from Kaiser to Sutter Health earlier today because both of those hospitals, as we mentioned, had to be evacuated. But before we even got to Sutter, we found the remnants of this neighborhood called Coffee Park. It's in the northwest part of Santa Rosa, and it's known as just the quintessential American neighborhood that's safe, that's quiet. It's an ideal place to grow up, is what I'm told. And we spoke to one person who has a lot of friends who lived here, and he said he's in disbelief of what this place looks like.
I never thought I'd see Santa Rosa like this. No. So I woke up this morning, I was in shock. It was surreal.
Earlier, this is video that we took, and from where we were standing, you could do an entire 360 and you wouldn't be able to see a single home that survived this fire. Firefighters have been driving up and down San Miguel Road all afternoon, but as of a couple of hours ago, we hadn't seen them tend to any of the hot spots. So lots of people right now are walking around, checking on their friends' homes, checking to see what's left of their homes, and that's what this traffic is behind me. Some are evacuating Santa Rosa, others just gawking at what's become this local spectacle. In Santa Rosa, Jackie Ward, KPIX5.
All right, Jackie, thanks. And as you say that, I'm counting. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 streets of mobile homes here, 100 in total, that are no longer here. So this devastated this neighborhood devastated this Journey's End mobile home park. And Ken and Veronica, I can tell you the temperature is starting to drop a little bit, but don't let that fool you, because as cool as the air might feel, we can still feel the heat coming off of this metal and everything else that's melted and still smoldering.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good news anyway. The temperatures are coming down. Alan, thank you.